Hi everyone. In this video I'm going to explain the effect of a decrease in supply on market equilibrium, price and quantity. And I'm going to do my explanation using both a demand and supply curve diagram and a written explanation. I'm going to begin by drawing a market in equilibrium by labelling my axes P and Q, drawing a downward sloping demand curve labelled D, an upward sloping supply curve labelled S, and then at the equilibrium where the curves cross, dash lines to the axis and label these prices P and Q. The first point in my written explanation is there must be some factor that's leading to this decrease in supply. Now there are many factors that can lead to a decrease in supply, and in a previous video I've covered them in more detail. I'm going to use one here as an example, perhaps the most important, which is changing production costs. And if we have a decrease in supply, that will be the result of higher production costs, higher costs of production. So this could be higher wages that firms have to pay for employees, it could be higher raw material prices, anything that makes it more expensive for the firm to produce what they're making. And if it's more expensive for the firm to produce what they're making, the firm will make less profit from producing that good. They won't want to produce so much of it, and therefore there will be a decrease in supply. I can show this decrease in supply on my diagram here on the left hand side by shifting my supply curve to the left. An important rule to remember for economics diagrams is left is less. So if you're trying to show something decreasing, that curve should be shifting to the left. If I use my pen here, you can see what that shift involves. Initially my supply curve is here at S, and then when there is that shift in supply, that supply curve moves to the left here at S1. And so I can include that in my written explanation as well. I can say that this shift is shown on the diagram by the shift from S to S1. Now, we've had a shift in supply, we've had a shift in a curve. That must also mean we've got a change in our market equilibrium. Remember, market equilibrium occurs where the curves cross. Originally the curves crossed here, supply and demand crossed here, so this is where our equilibrium was. Now I've got a decrease in supply. My new supply curve crosses my demand curve here, and initially we're going to see what's happened to the price. And we can see here the price has gone up from P to P1. So we have an increase in price from P to P1. And every time you have a shift in one curve, that will lead to a contraction or an extension in the other curve. Here I've got a shift in supply, so that must lead to a contraction or an extension in demand. And here I can see that my original equilibrium was here. I've now moved up the demand curve in this direction to my new equilibrium there, and that must be then a contraction in demand. So I can include that in my written explanation, and I can now complete my diagram by labelling my new quantity, which is here at Q1, and I can complete my written explanation by saying that I've got a new market equilibrium at a higher price. That price is now up to P1, and a lower quantity. Quantity has gone down from Q down to Q1. And so overall, what is the effect of a decrease in supply, market equilibrium, price and quantity? The impact is that the market equilibrium moves from this equilibrium to this equilibrium. Price goes up from P to P1, and quantity goes down from Q to Q1.